things I'm hearing coming up a lot is, what can I do? And I get that question a lot, and so I'm going to try to answer it. Be the long answer or the short version. I think there are two components to this. It has to do with your public life and your private life. In your private life, just consider the decisions that you're making. Are you buying organic or are you not? If you can't afford it, well, are you going to use, for example, if I buy a lot of yogurt, and yogurt containers make awesome Tupperware. Okay, it's like small little decisions like that, like considering sort of the decisions that you're making when you're grocery shopping and all these various other things. How much meat are you eating? Like all these different things that you can kind of just run as a checklist through your head. And I think that the other side of that is the public side. And what that has to do with is making it known to the people who you care about that these issues matter to you. And that you're going to talk about them when you have an opportunity to. And that you will write your MPs and the people who represent you and let them know that you are using your democratic voice. And then when voting time comes along, you show up and you vote. And you look into the issues and you think about what matters to you and who's going to represent that for you. And specifically in reference to the work that we do, we're trying really, really hard to get a legislative change event on the North Coast of BC. And one of the things that we say to people all the time is contact your MP. Tell them that this matters to you. Because they aren't going to do it if you don't, no offense or anything, they aren't going to do it unless we tell them to do it. Because they're very, very busy people. They have a lot of stuff to do. They have a lot of issues to fight for. And you need to make sure that they know that it matters to you.
Thanks, Andrea. Anybody else on the panel want to respond? Ben?
Not to belabor the point that Andrew's bringing up, but I think it's really important to recognize, there's this old saying, everybody's got a right to their own opinion, but not to their own facts. And right now, there's this big push from the oil industry to try to dispute the facts of climate science. And I think, we just need to stand up for reality. I think we're sort of collectively all trying to put off dealing with a huge big problem and not dealing with the science that's being presented to us, that there's an international consensus around the world. If we don't challenge these assertions when they come forward, if we don't stand up for science and stand up for facts, I think we're shortchanging ourselves as a civilization. To the credit of the NDP and the folks who voted for C311, it was based on science-based targets. Don't accept legislation that isn't based on science. If you're serious about doing something about climate change, doing a little bit isn't enough. It's like being a little bit pregnant. There is no such thing. You either deal with the problem or you don't. And what we're trying to do at the Wilderness Committee, and I know a lot of others are doing the same things, we're not waiting for the politicians to get the job done as much as we think the legislation is important. Right now we've got a legal mandate to reduce emissions 6% below 1990 levels by 2012. In the same time, we've gone up 32%. So, to actually meet our legally binding commitments under the existing Kyoto Protocol, we need a 38% reduction in emissions by, 2 years from now, a year or whatever. And I don't see that happening. But what we can do is every time somebody proposes a new coal mine, say no. Every time somebody proposes more tankers moving through the harbor, say no. Every time somebody proposes anything that moves us aggressively in the wrong direction, that's an opportunity to actually say no and to do something about it. And there's plenty of examples of people actually being successful in these campaigns. There's coal mines being shut down all over the United States. There's campaigns being won all over the world that are actually having a meaningful impact. And those are the places where we can really make change. As much as our personal choices or consumption can make a difference. If it's all about voting with your dollars, George Soros has a lot more votes than you or I do. But if it's really about being part of a democracy, then we can make a difference on a project-by-project basis. Because ultimately, that's what the legislation is supposed to do anyway, is to stop these bad projects from going forward. So yeah, that's my 2 cents.
Thank you, Ben.